It is Monday, Mentees. That means it's time for another advance overview. This time we're going to be looking at Batman City of Crime Deluxe Edition from DC Comics. So, please stay tuned. Okay, before we get started, I'd like to thank the folks at DC Comics for sending us an advance copy of this hardcover. This deluxe edition comes out on March 11th. So let's take a closer look at the cover and then the spine and the back of the book. It retails for $39.99. Now, this particular hardcover has been released before in trade paperback format. It is a deluxe edition, so that means the artwork is oversized, so it's as tall as an omnibus, not really as thick, of course, because of the page count. But this is compared to the original trade paperback. Okay, so let's look at this without the dust jacket. The back, and then the design of the spine without the dust jacket. Okay, one other thing before I go any further, I want to do one more comparison, and that is the paper quality. The paper quality on the original release of the trade paperback, it's like this cheap comic book paper from the 80s. And then the new one has a thick, glossy paper. So I'm glad that they kept that for the deluxe edition. The art really stands out a lot more on this. The original book right here has 288 pages. This new one has 304. So let's get this opened. Batman City of Crime. Here are the credits for the book. David Lapham, of course, writing it and then doing some of the layouts. And Ramon Box doing the pencils. Nathan Massengill is doing the inks and Jason Wright, the colorist. Now, here's the collected edition editors, like Jeb Woodard and Scott Nibakin. Alright, so let's get started with this. It starts off with the little prelude that was found in Detective Comics 800. So that's just a few pages long. And then we get into the main story arc, which is 801. So, this collects Detective Comics 800, that little part that you saw there, 801 to 808, and then 811 to 814. So, I'm sure you're going to ask, Omar, what the hell? Where is 809 and 810? Well, that is part of the War Crimes crossover event. And War Crimes was a follow-up to the War Drums and War Games crossover within all the Batman titles. And it served as an epilogue. So that's where those two issues are found. As a matter of fact, one of the things I'm sure I'm going to be asked is, where do you read this particular book? And I swear, the Batman Comprehensive Reading Order will come. We'll put that up on the Patreon's poll sometime here in the next couple of months. I'm just waiting for some more books to be announced or to come out. I would suggest reading this after War Games and the Red Hood, Under the Red Hood storyline. So I usually read this right before Hush returns. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the story. So, Batman is on a mission, right? He is done dealing with people running the new drugs that are destroying families and people of Gotham. It's mainly the death of some teenage kids and then a pregnant lady that kind of kicks this whole thing off. So he is going to find the root of the problem, where all the drugs are coming in. And of course, that means he is going to be dealing with a lot of his foes from his amazing rogue gallery. Now, there are some controversial things that happen in here. I don't know if you're familiar with David Lapham or not, but I know the story at one time was regarded to be controversial. David Lapham is the guy that did Stray Bullets, which is an amazing series. It's a crime series. And the artwork here by Box, he has drawn things like Batman and Batgirl in the past. So he's very familiar with these characters. And that's pretty much the story in here. And I remember reading this a few years back when I did a huge Batman readathon of everything that I've had post-Crisis up until whatever was current by then. I think it was right around halfway through the New 52 era. And I think this is one of those... how do I explain it? One of those stories that is less fictional and more non-fiction. It reads more like a crime saga, and it feels less like a Batman story, even though you have capes, even though you have supervillains. And I don't know why that is, and it could be because of Lapham's background. And actually, that's probably exactly what it is, because of the background that he comes from. Now, the extra pages that you're probably wondering about are the full-blown covers, which I love this, and I hope that they start doing this in more and more Omnis and Deluxe Editions. They have what part it is, so this is City of Crime, Part 10, Pearls and Fine China, from Detective Comics 812. So a lot of the time, and when it was published, by the way, and who did the cover, a lot of the time DC leaves out that information from the back. They just have the cover, and sometimes I get lost reading what issue I'm supposed to be on or what issue I'm on. Here, let's not flip all the way through here. There's also a little extra in the back that I wasn't aware of because, like I said, I've only read this in trade paperback edition. And to clarify, one of the things when I meant by controversial, I don't mean like Identity Crisis controversial. I mean, I think people had issues with using this story to tell a crime tale that didn't need to feature characters like the Penguin or Mr. Freeze, because at the end of the day, they're super villains and they really shouldn't care about these things. Lapham has also written, what else did he write? Oh, it was the Deadpool Max series. He did do the Deadpool Max series. He wrote some things in Age of Apocalypse, the new Age of Apocalypse, not the original. Now, let's look in the back here for those extras I was talking about. Again, nothing wrong with that page on the left. It wasn't originally pixelated. It's just me hiding the ending so we can look at this. So the original idea was to have Bill Sienkiewicz do the artwork for City of Crime. And however, he walked away from the project or just didn't have enough time. It's all explained up here. I didn't know that, and that is pretty cool. Now, let's look at this binding really quick. It is sewn binding, and there is that eye that you want to see. Not like there's a huge amount of splash pages, but the few that are completely fine because there's no gutter loss. One of the things that I haven't done on videos that I've talked about only, but here's a visual explanation, is that the old paper that they use is a lot thicker. So this thick comic book style paper makes the trade paperback, even though this one has 304 pages and this one has 288 pages, makes the trade paperback look a lot thicker, and that's the way it fits in your shelf. But because of the thinner and glossier pages, you get more pages and more room on your shelf to store the book on your bookshelf. So there you have it, Batman City of Crime, Dust Jacket. By the way, I never really mentioned these French flaps, but the French flaps is usually where you find information on the creators and kind of gives you a little blurb about what the story is here on the left. Again, there you have it. If you're interested in purchasing this on March 11th when it comes out to comic book stores and places like Cheap Graphic Novels, you can purchase it from cheapgraphicnovels.com, our sponsor. And here's a quick word from them. This episode is sponsored by cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off the cover price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on packaging your books so they arrive safely and in excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. And check out their bargain bin for even greater deals up to 90% off cover price. And for you Minties, Cheap Graphic Novels is running a special promotion. If you're a first-time customer, let them know you were referred by Near Mint Condition at the checkout, and you'll receive a credit for free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discounts, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. Now, that was the contents of the book and the comparison to the original trade paperback, the page count, and the build. Please let me know in those comments down below if you're picking this up, if you already have the trade paperback and you're not upgrading, or if you've never read it and going into it blind. If you're a huge Batman fan and have to have everything Batman. Smash that like button, hit that bell for notifications, don't forget to leave a comment down below, and remember, we can be found on Patreon and Redbubble, and all of that information is in the description down below. But more importantly, if it's classy and cool, it must be Near Mint.